Lane Frost always had a big old smile on his face, and to me and my wife, he just was a super good kid that knew what he wanted, and that was to be the best bull rider there was.
He was the same outside the ring as he was in there. And that's what out of all of it, yeah, he was Lane wherever he was at.
Just this past few months of everything going on with the 25th year, it's just amazing to me, the following and the things that are to come with him. I mean, I don't know what, I mean, he's done more since he's passed than he has when he was alive. I mean, that's amazing.
He was just a common, everyday guy that had a natural gift, a God-given gift to ride bulls. You know, like I said, I've heard these other guys say he was the same here, there, or wherever, and he was. You know, he was just, and he was honored too.
Lane's the greatest guy I've ever known in my life, and I'll love him forever. But that's the kind of guy Lane was. He was aggravating. He would pull pranks on you.
One of his practical jokes I remember the best was one day he was at the house, and she was fixing to leave, and he was leaving, and she told him, she said, leave those gates open down at the road because I'm coming out in just a few minutes. And when she went out, he must have found every piece of wire up and down the fence and everywhere, because he had tied those gates all the way from the top to the bottom with every piece of wire that he could find. She said it took her 30 minutes to get that wire off of that gate. So he was a little bit of a practical joker.
Well, I was over here one night visiting Robin, and we were sitting on the couch, and the house was a little different. It had a wall here and the couch. I think the couch was sitting here, wasn't it? And we were sitting there watching TV, and all of a sudden Robin hollered and said, Lane! And I looked up, and he was standing in that window right there, and he had his butt cheeks pressed up against that window. He was mooning us. And that was just something he did all the time. You know, he didn't care. You know, he just having fun.
It wasn't anything about the world champion, honestly. It wasn't anything about his career. It's about who he was. I mean, just even in the movie, you know, the little scenes, you know, I'm glad they did them, you know, the few scenes where he'd stop and help a kid. That was so insignificant, but it was so important. Those are the most meaningful things. You know, you touch one person, you can touch 1,000. You win a trophy or something, everybody sees it, but they don't know who you are as a person.
We was at Lane one time, and Clyde and Elsie had the store, and here come Lane out there to talk to us as we was getting gas. And my daughter asked, she said, what kin are you to us? And we said, well, Lane ain't really kin to us, we're just good friends. And Lane said, no, we're rodeo kin. And ever since that time, that's the way it was.
Basically, his life is an open book, you know, even after his death. And, you know, people like us, the legacy we leave can be the same on the personal side with, you know, being a good neighbor, being humble, helping others.
The following of Lane Frost, I mean, it's never stopped. It's a pretty big statement right there.
I'll never forget the sermon the preacher gave, and I don't even know who it was that did it. But he said that he told everybody Lane had been saved, and he said if you ever want to see Lane again, you'd have to be born again. And it just tore at my heart. And the preacher said, if I need to pray for y'all, you just raise your hand. And without thinking, my hand shot up. And of course, I couldn't talk to anybody at that time or anything.
Lane, he was on me all the time about needing to get Jesus in my life. But I just got off one day and got on my knees and said, you know, I want Christ in my life. I want to be saved. And I just crawled back up on the dozer and went on back to work. And I told Lane, I said, okay, I done it. And he was so happy.
When we left the funeral, I was just in turmoil. And I was working at a rock quarry, and I went back to work that evening. And before I left work that evening, I got down on my knees in that quarry and I gave my life to the Lord. And ever since that time, I hope that the influence Lane had on me will carry through the witnesses that I could give the young people. Because I think his greatest witness is now, in maybe through me and through his parents, and because what he does now has greater impact on people than when he was alive.
You're welcome. Let's look around.
Oh, thank you. That's great. This is amazing.
Head up there last summer. It's a family from Las Vegas come by here.
No way.
And about a month later, sometime that come in the mail. First Saturday,
Is that right?
when we moved down here and found out this big deal up there at that Avenue. We got there in the middle of the year, but you might have we didn't say.
Wow.
That was great.
First saddle.
If you want to look up a lot of stuff, it's close.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. I rifle through everything. I just appreciate you sharing all this. It's really kind of overwhelming.
Explain all the stories, everything.
He's telling me a few of them
So
now.
many. Well, the stuff they get given to them. Tell them about that one.
Tell me about this one.
See, there's some lady that had a dream or a vision or something. The Lane was sitting on a rock talking to a bunch of kids. And anyway, all them kids got killed in Oklahoma City. And anyway, this lady, I think it's a nurse when I was in the hospital. And she knew I had a friend that was an artist. So she went and checked on all them kids that was killed and their age and everything. And then painted that.
So that's supposed to be an accurate account of kids from the Oklahoma City bombing.
Bombing.
They was all killed.
Wow. Wow.
It just never entered my mind that, here we are. He's been gone as many years as he lived, and people still talk about him and remember him, and I just never would have dreamed that at all. Because I remember saying to Clyde when Lane was killed, do you think in 10 years anybody will remember who Lane Armstrong was? And so it's just been such a mind-boggling thing.
He loved people. And Freckles told me a long time ago, we wouldn't be at these shows if it wasn't for them people in the stands. And Lane understood that. He wanted to help get them there if he could.
And God gave him that gift to want to help people and do things for people. And, it must have been 10 years after Lane died. We got a call from this guy in Arizona, I think it was, and he said his kids wanted him to watch this movie. And he said then when the family photos started rolling, he said, that's the guy that stopped and helped me that time. He said, I was broke down on the road with a load of rock, and this guy stopped and picked me up and took me to the next town to get some help. Said I didn't have a clue who he was, but it was Lane Frost. That's who that was. And I just appreciated him sharing that with us, because Lane loved to tell us stories all about where he'd been and what he'd been doing and stuff, but, he didn't tell us about that. I mean, he didn't tell us those kind of stories.
That's the way he was. And I just hope other kids will realize what he was.
And, you know, I was thinking this morning when we were sitting in church with all of our friends and stuff in church, they didn't realize who Lane was. You know, I mean, even a lot of them won't even see this. You know, Lane was just our son. You know, he was just another boy that lived in the country, and you know, he was just Lane Frost. I mean, to them, you know, he wasn't this big icon. You know, and of course, I don't think he even realized it back then. You know, it's the reason it has to be a God thing. But you know, like I say, then he come to know Christ. You know, just not too long before he was killed.
We went to this church to eat. This Indian come over there after we'd eat. Said, "You want to tell me this story?" Said they was at a rodeo with his little boy, and Lane was riding there. Said after the rodeo, here's his boy come with this old dirty pair of Wranglers, and I said, "You steal them, or where'd you get them?" No, he said Lane gave them to me, and he autographed them for him. Said they're still hanging on his wall. Wow.
He didn't have anything else to give him, so gave him his riding pants. And of course, I always like to mention our other two kids. You know, sometimes I feel like they're slighted a little bit because there's so much emphasis put on Lane. You know, but we have two other kids that are wonderful people too. They're just Stetson's dad and our daughter. They're really good kids. We like people to know that we've got 5 wonderful grandsons because of the other two kids. So we just appreciate let people remember Lane after 25 years. I just all these things always just amaze me. You know, I'm thinking, really, they're doing a whole month or 25 days of things about Lane. You know, it's just pretty
God
amazing.
Still using me.
Yeah, that's the truth.
About it.
And like I said about the movie, you know, even though it wasn't all exactly like we would have liked, God's still using it too. So it's been a good thing, you know, overall. Anyway, we just appreciate you.
Here he is. Let's see if he can. Looking good. Tapped off good.
Listen to these Oklahoma fans.